episode 5350. On phone on. What up, man? Now we gonna talk that real shit. Real shit. They gonna
going on, people, and welcome back to the Jonah Pitney podcast. I'm your host, Jonah Pitney, and of course, we are discussing the Minnesota Vikings taking on Chicago Bears in this Week 6 matchup. Of course, we all know the Chicago Bears won their first game of the season. They are now 1-4, along with the Minnesota Vikings, who lost their game 27-20 against the Kansas City Chiefs. They was able to put up points, but they wasn't able to stop that valuable Kansas City offense. Even after Travis Kelce was hurt and returned to the game, they wasn't able to make the adjustments to try to stop them. And now it's on to this Sunday's game against the Bears at 12 o'clock. But it is good news for the Chicago Bear fans. Justin Jefferson is on IR, which he is out, which I just was looking at the story today that the Minnesota Vikings are set to place Justin Jefferson on injured reserve, meaning he's going to miss at least the next 4 games of the season while on reserve, especially because he suffered that. I guess the hamstring injury he suffered must be real bad for him not to be able to go out there and be put on injured reserve. Plus, because of how valuable he is, and how the NFL is now with making sure to take better care of their players. That's the reason why he is on injured reserve instead of risking him going out there and possibly rupturing even more or potentially tearing his hamstring. But the news did break Tuesday morning, and sources say that the timeline for Jefferson's return remains unknown. Is really based on how he responds to the treatment. His injury was very significant. As they say, there's no guarantee that he'll be back in 4 games. So there's a strong chance he may be missing an additional 4 games max. He might be missing 8 games max if things continue to be set that way for him. And also, there's more good news, Bear fans, that there's a strong chance that the Bears may get back not only Kyler Gordon, but Jalen Johnson and Eddie Jackson. They all could be coming back, and that can definitely help the Bears secondary, even though they played a little bit better. They last game against what people call a game manager, they gave up 388 yards passing. So that was almost 400 yards passing against the so-called what you call them a game manager. So just to read this story real quick before I get real deep into it, the Chicago Bears could receive a boost in the secondary this week. Testing time for the NFC North matchup between the Minnesota Vikings, so the Chicago Bears won't have to face star Justin Jefferson in the story that we just broke. The Bears designated nickel corner Kyler Gordon is set to return from injury reserve Monday. Of course, that is one day after the Vikings have just put Jefferson on the injury reserve with a severe hamstring injury. Gordon did have surgery on his broken hand after the season opener, which left him out for the last 4 games because he broke his hand. And now, because it has been that time, he is designated return. And also, as well, like I said, Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson could be returning as well from injury. So we just got to see exactly what's going to happen with that. Yo, what's going on, David? How you doing, man? How you feeling? Good to see you on here. I'm happy that you are partly watching the Jonah Pitney podcast. But yeah, man, just got to see how everything's gonna go out with between the Bears and Minnesota Vikings. Of course, the Bears pass rush did look a lot better last week. Of course, he did send blitzes and switched it up to keep that quarterback unbalanced. And the Bears definitely gonna have to do the same exact thing to Kirk Cousins. If they're not able to do that to Kirk Cousins, he may not always perform well in the playoffs. But during the regular season, that's usually his money game, especially when he got guys they can throw to now. Even though Justin Jefferson is gone, they still have players on that offense that they can spread the ball out to. Just Justin Jefferson is the one who commands the ball the most. So because of now he's not in there, they probably freely be able to spread the ball out a little bit more. So because of that, the Bears is definitely going to have to make sure they rush the quarterback. Because last year, I believe I heard on the news earlier today that he had 67 pass attempts. Only one sack was made against him last year. And on top of that, it was only maybe five pressures total. So that means he's basically sitting there clean in the goddamn pocket the whole goddamn time. So they definitely got to find a way to get that together going into that game next week. Well, coming up this week because last weekend already in past. Let's see what David has to say. It's Capacity, the divisional matchup, but I think the Bears can win it. Yeah, they can. They actually had a chance to now be go after going on three, end up being 3-3 at this moment. But we, of course, we know what happened last Sunday against the Denver Broncos. So let's just hope that they continue those winning ways and the defense find a way to get the play even better. And Matt Eberflus calls up even better play calls than he did previously in the last game, and hope that they can find a way to constantly just make it difficult for that Minnesota Vikings offense because they did well in stopping the run majority of the game last week. They have to definitely be able to do that this week because Kirk Cousins is one of the best play action quarterbacks there is behind Jared Goff and a few other guys that's out there that's very good at hiding the ball and making you think that it's a run play when it's really a pass play. So they're definitely going to have to make sure that they attack Kirk Cousins constantly. And even on run plays, still have somebody run Kirk Cousins' way. You don't have to necessarily hit him up and make sure that if it's definitely a play action pass, you can make that hit, go ahead and bring him down. He's not going to struggle that hard to stay up. He's going to go down with ease. But on the flip side of the Bears offense, they definitely going to have to make sure they sustain what they've been able to do the last two games because the knock on Justin Fields and their offense is that they're not able to be consistent, especially Justin Fields, which I just looked at earlier today and heard on the radio earlier today that whenever it come down to 2 minute drives, whenever it come down to moments like that, Justin Fields has not thrown a touchdown. He has thrown six interceptions. His quarterback rating is like in the 40s. It's like when it comes down to it, when it's a very close game, he cannot make the right plays. Either he screws it up or a teammate blows it. Of course, we know about the former Viking Smith Marset that tried to make extra plays, got the ball stripped, lost the game for Chicago. The next game after that, tried to drive down the field through an interception. When they went against Green Bay last year, they were trying to drive the ball down the field at the end of the game, try to get the game close, or potentially score a touchdown and go up on Green Bay through an interception. He did it earlier this year against the Buccaneers. He threw an interception. He did it also against the Broncos. He threw an interception. So that is, uh, if the game is up in front for the Bears, he wins the games. But when it come down to that pressure, and you really have to go out there and do what you're supposed to do, Justin Fields has not been able to consistently go out there and make plays. So that's where or if you haven't really been paying attention or haven't been listening to the media and speaking and listening to the actual facts that they've been putting out there instead of just the rhetoric that they tend to sometimes put out there because of how they feel, then of course you wouldn't know that. But just paying attention and looking at that, and even myself just looking at it just from the eye test, let me know that Just Fields in that area definitely has to get it together and try. And if it does come down to that situation, this is probably his chance right then because I believe this is going to be one of those games. It's going to come down to that situation where he's going to have to lead the team from a 25-yard line on through and score probably the final points, whether that's a field goal or a touchdown. And let's see if he can actually go out there and do it because if not, Of course, it's going to be another loss. Once again, you're going to hear everything about Caleb coming out, the quarterback from USC. You're going to hear everything about getting rid of Matt Eberflus, getting rid of Justin Fields, getting rid of the coaching staff. And if you're a true Bear fan, you really tired of hearing that type of rhetoric. You really just want to focus on this season and not be talking about draft picks and everything else already. You just want to go straight to talking about this season and see exactly how the season is going to pan out. And that's basically what you want throughout this season. But right now, going back to the game, their offense definitely going to have to try to find a way to run the football because you're missing Herbert. Roshan Johnson may not be back because of the goddamn concussion he faced. The other running back got hurt right after that. So right now you're down to Foreman. And if Roshan Johnson is able to come back in the game, then you have two running backs and a fullback that's going to have to go out there. You may have your backup tight end have to go out there and be a lead blocker if it come down to that when you have to have the fullback in there to spare the other two running backs. So if they're able to still be able to run the football effectively, even though Herbert is not out there, it's definitely going to help Justin Fields and their offense be able to go out there and throw the goddamn football down the field. Also, the offensive line, hopefully they're able to keep the offensive line with Borum, Jenkins, the center being Cody Whitehair, uh, having Wright at tackle and having Davis at the right guard and and keep that nucleus together because it seemed like when those guys were together, the passing offense, especially in terms of blocking, blocked even better. I'm not going to say that Lucas Patrick didn't do well in that game in terms of blocking before he went out with an injury, but that was a starting unit that was supposed to be minus Larry Borum. Of course, you're supposed to have your other starting tackle that's not out there right now, but that's the nucleus that you want, and you want them to gel very well. So then when Larry Borum go out and the starting left tackle comes back in, then maybe then you can have more of a cohesive unit out there to be able to block and pass block a hell of a lot better, which they did do in the previous game, not giving up that many sacks. Which I think one of them was because Justin Fields held the ball too long, and another one was because Larry Borum just got beat way too fast, and there was no time for him to be able to get move around in the pocket. Secondly, he has to find a way to spread the ball to everyone on the team and not just DJ Moore, because everyone is looking at the film. Everyone watched the game that didn't have to play Thursday, and I'm pretty sure the Minnesota Vikings did watch the game Thursday. Yeah, right now I'm doing a video. Can I get back to you on that? I'm doing a live video right now. Yeah, I don't wear white. Okay. But anyways, it's getting back to the talking about the Chicago Bears. They have to find a way to spread the ball because everyone is going to be on DJ Moore as it is. They're going to make sure to double team him because they're seeing exactly what he's able to do with cornerbacks out there. So they're going to double team him. They may have a linebacker going in between the seams to keep him from being able to catch those long stop yardage routes in between. They're going to be able to try to do things like that. So that means you're going to have to feed the ball to Darnell Mooney probably a little bit more. If Bayless Jones Jr. be out there, try to get him out there, try to get the rookie wide receivers involved, try to get Cole Kmet involved. And if all that is sold up, don't be afraid of Justin Fields to be able to throw the ball to your running backs and have them trade up the field and try to fit the ball in rhythm where they can catch it and go straight up the field and try to make some type of move out there and go up there and consistently get yards. So if they're able to do that, their offense will be a well-oiled machine, and that will be able to transition to scoring points out there. And in reverse, you have to be able to stop them because they're going to try to do the exact same thing that I just previously discussed. Now, everything I've been talking about that the Chicago Bears needed to do over the past few weeks, they did. It's just that they failed to do it in the second half against the Denver Broncos, and they gave a lot of Bear fans uh, a typical scare in the second half, allowing the Washington Commanders Thursday to be able to come back and be a 10-point game It's just that they missed that field goal and they missed the 2-point conversion. So that right there was 5 points missing off the board for them. And then after that, Chicago Bears was able to score 10 more points and make it a 40-20 game and make it be certain that it will never get back close ever again. And they was able to continuously make plays out there. But we know exactly what's going to happen. If you know football, you know exactly what the Vikings game plan is going to be. Make Justin Fields still be a passer, but take away his main weapon. His main two weapons right now is Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. They're going to try their best to take them away and force him to beat them not only on the run, using quarterback runs or scrambles out there, but also try to have him beat you with the other receivers. So that's and running backs. He's messed, like I said before, he got to make sure to include those running backs in the passing game. That's something I've grown to get used to from quarterbacks even back in the day with Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton. You keep going. A few quarterbacks in between, Jay Cutler, Mitchell Trubisky, all of them made sure to get that ball to that running back. Justin Fields has to learn to do the exact same thing and get that ball to the running back. If they able to do just those small little things right there, it would be so much easier for this fast offense to keep going. And my prediction of the game, I do always do two predictions because it can always be two outcomes that can happen, whether they go for us or against us. And the one that is for us right now, that because that Minnesota defense really can't stop nobody, much like the Bears can't, it could be a high scoring game, and this could wind up being like a 35-32 game for the Bears. And if things go wrong for the Bears, if Justin Fields can't pass the ball down the field, if he becomes inconsistent and starts staring down his receivers because DJ Moore is not open, if he can't get rid of that ball, if the offensive line can't hold up, they can't run the football, then this can easily turn into a 28-17 game for the Minnesota Vikings to go out there and win it. Some people might not want to hear it, but I'm just being realistic out there due to the simple fact that the inconsistencies that they continue to show, not just from last year, but going into this year during the first 4 games of the season before they even won last Thursday. And even then they were still a little bit more inconsistent in between that, not being able to put up points like you would think in the second half, especially after scoring so many points in the first half, scoring 21, at one point being 21 to 7, and then eventually 28-11 before they finally was able to score those last 13 points within the fourth quarter, or 27-11 before they scored those last few points in the fourth quarter to make it 40-20. So that's some of the things that you do have to look at when it comes down to this team. Is can they be consistent? Can Justin Fields continue to be consistent himself? And can that defense be able to do what they did just over the last couple of weeks, minus what they wasn't able to do in the second half of the game against Denver Broncos? So if they able to do those key things right there, on top of that, try to limit Minnesota as much as possible because they are already limited with Justin Jefferson being out with a hamstring injury, then yeah, this team can go out there and win the goddamn game. But I'm not going to keep this going for a very, very long time. So I'm going to end the video right here. And I do appreciate David for being able to hop on. And whoever else that is a viewer that hopped on, I do appreciate you as well. And once again, this is Jonah Pitney bringing it back to you with the Jonah Pitney podcast. Just make sure to tune in. I will be trying to make sure I be a little bit more consistent going in every week during Bears videos, and I might start trying to do a little bit more videos in between that. But I do appreciate that, people. Peace out. Go Chicago Bears.
Gonna hit your spine on the other side. It come out your lip. You heard what I said. I ain't need nothing for jigger. This shit to get different.